Hello again, YouTube fam. Welcome back to Dark Angel's Journey. This is Shakira. Man, I have a bit of a weird one. I guess it's not weird, but it's one of those anxiety moments where I'm like, you just shush, just do what you got to do and stop being such a weirdo. But I got to share this one with you guys. So if you enjoy these like straight up psychology related conversations and even attached to the technical setups and just being able to let the thing play out, which is something that I did not do well today at all. So if you like this content, please do hit the like button, please do hit the subscribe button. This is a journey, so come down the road with me. All right, so oh my god. All right, so this morning, and I apologize that I didn't make this earlier in the day, but this morning I was like, oh man, I gotta figure out what I have available to trade. So I came in early to try and figure out what would be a good place to take a trade. So I opened up the charts, and as always, I start off at the high level charts. Let me make this a little bigger so you guys can see. Yeah, I just figured out how to do that too. So, and ignore that it's a little jumbled down here. I had some stuff sorted out. So I wanted to pull out where I thought there were some equal lows, the spots where they like to come back and initiate stop hunts on us poor retail traders out here. And then, I wanted to mark off where all of the imbalances were kind of hanging out and sitting, so that I would have some ideas of where my targets were and all that good stuff. Anyway, so mark that out. There's a lovely juicy one up here, and they're not super far away, right? Like less than $1,000 away. So, I was looking at, let me see if I can spray this out a little bit. Let me see it a little bit better. Yeah. So I was looking at these and I was like, they came here and hit that and that and that a number of times until they broke it out right yesterday, and they dropped down to 19,455, and they were like kind of consolidating around here for a while. So there's not much to do after that move, at least from my perspective as a beginner trader. There's not much. But earlier today when we saw this lovely green vector candle, right, and that's telling me, all right, so we might have some movement. So so I just marked off the areas where I see they keep coming back to trying to shake folks out. So my equal low stop on areas. So then I dropped down to like the 1 hour, and this we're probably gonna have to adjust this thing up a little bit more so it's easier to see, and then let's move that up. It's funny in TradingView, it's so interesting to see how you kind of sort this stuff out. So I'm over here thinking about what are my options here. Do I see anything juicy? So there's two setups that I saw, at least on the 1 hour, right? So here we have a bit of a juicy MSB right here, and I set an alert actually. I was like, see, it says consider long for entering area below. So this is juicy MSB with this nice break, strong, boom, boom, boom. All the candles the same color going up. That's great. It left juicy imbalances to be filled. So I'm thinking once price comes back down into that area, and I go into the lower time frames, and then find myself a nice long going back up. Now that's of course with the assumption that as I'm watching it, it's not going to do anything else weird, or go below this lower low, because the moment it breaks that, I'm like, heck no, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And I might change my short bias. But the thing is, like, if you take a look at the VRVP, so the volume range, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I just want to take it up. So there's not a lot going on below. There's a little area down here, and I know that's hard to see, I apologize, but all the traffic's like in this area here. It was in this space where they were like kind of consolidating, but there's not a lot to stop it from dropping below. So we really do need to keep keep this level. Otherwise, you know, folks are talking about was it 14K or 10K or something? I don't know. I have no concept of where it's gonna go. Remember, everything I'm saying here is not financial advice, none of that. This is just what I'm doing, the setups that I saw, and that's it, right? So, you know, I saw this and I was like, cool. And then, you know, it was breaking up nicely. I was like, I wonder, you know, if it can pass the local high that it made earlier, if that would give us an opportunity for, let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Yeah. So now we're on the 15, right? So if that could give us an opportunity for, you know, maybe taking a short back down to this area here. So, you know, I was just thinking to myself, so then I opened up the 15 and I was like, bam, that's like 3 hits. And usually, you know, the rule of 3 says, like, if they've made 3 good hits to a specific location, probably they're running out of steam after that and they might change directions, right? So when this blue vector candle, and guys, just so you know, I'm using the Trader's Reality indicator here for this. I love it because, you know, the basic way it works is, if you see a strong green set of candles, consider that market maker activity, period. If you see, and let's scroll back over, if you see red vector candles going down, that is market maker activity. They're building their longs, right? While at the same time taking profits for their shorts, you know? So they're gonna build their longs at the lowest levels and then reverse things up. So I like this one because it kind of helps me figure out what's happening, who's doing what, because you notice that there are like lighter candles in here, you know, that, and those consider those to be us, the guppies, the retail traders that don't have the money that's, you know, capable of moving the market. All right, so anyway, so I'm seeing this activity and I looked at it as early this morning. What was that, like 10:15, you know? And I was like, all right, it's after, Trader's Reality calls it the magic hour. It's like 3 p.m. for him, it's 10 a.m. for us. In any case, blue vector candle, long wick on it. I'm like, you know, they're running out of steam. So that's the kind of situation you want to watch what's happening, right? Like what's happening, and you want to look for some kind of potential entry, because now I'm thinking to myself, and let me see if I can make this a little bit easier to see. I don't have my mouse, guys, so I apologize. So I'm like looking at myself like, okay, so if I'm feeling like this is gonna, you know, break and come back down, I need some sort of like strong MSB, and I'm not really seeing anything all that exciting here. So, you know, except for this blue vector candle, and I'm like, all right, let's see if they can do anything, you know, with it. Can it break above it? And it needs to break strongly above it for me to feel like life is good. But what did they do instead? They came down, they did a little something, and then they came back up and they faked some folks out. I'm thinking this is like some kind of stop hunt right here. Look at how equal these, they're almost equal, close, whatever. But anyway, so now we have a very weak market structure break right here, plus a swing failure pattern. So I'm like, all right, I have 2 things here, 2 confluences that can tell that are basically telling me that the market's probably going to turn around, right? Or at least, you know, come back down for a short period of time, and maybe I might have an opportunity. So then I start looking further down to see if there's any equal lows or areas where they've been coming back to and kicking people out. So, you know, I saw this little area here, so I marked it off as an equal low space. And look, and they came back to it and shook people out some more. I mean, it's kind of mean, right? But that's how it works, right? Anyway, so I'm seeing that. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, I need to see some sort of MSB forming so I can make a decision to get in here, to go low, to go short, you know, with this blue vector candle. And then I've got this weak MSB along with this swing failure pattern, and then I have these like equal lows areas down here as a potential target. So I decided, let me like open up the 5 minute and let's see what's happening. And I'm gonna shut down the volume profile, because this basically just tells me where all of the liquidity is kind of hanging out, right? And usually the liquidity is going to be where a lot of candles are grouped up together like that. So you notice that there's a way more activity in these spaces, but then when there's not as much, it's kind of like a blank space there. Let me see, I make that a little bigger. Yeah. All right, so we can see the break even a little bit better on the 5 minutes, because it kind of closed, but then it's still not good, right? So then I was like, okay, so what I'm looking for right now is a strong break that will signal an opportunity for me to go short. And I came in here and I was looking at the 5 minute and I was like, oh, I'm not really seeing it. I'm not seeing anything super strong. This is early in the morning. So then I was like, all right, let me dip down into maybe the 2 minute. Maybe there's something over there I can play with. And let me go back up, right? So then on the 2 minute, I was like, all right. So I can kind of work with this, right? So on the 2 minute, I see this break right here, and it's hard. Yeah, I hadn't. Hold on. Let me make that a little bit more visible, right? So on the 2 minute, and I can take this off for a second. Let's take off Trader's Rally, because the moving averages and the EMA cloud can be a bit hard to read. Anyway, so on the 2 minute, I see this nice break right here, and I'm like, sweet, just what I've been looking for. Not to mention, we've got this higher high, it made a lower high. Look at that. It's just been kind of slowly going down. And I'm like, sweet. So I was looking, I saw this break, and I'm like, awesome. So right above it is a lovely imbalance that I was thinking, yes, this would be a great place to put in a short. And thing is, I opened my short, and then I started to see things pulling back a little bit, and then I closed it like an idiot. Can I tell you? Like an idiot, guys. Super stupid, dumb moment. And this is why I'm here, right? To do these things and figure out what's happening. So I opened this short, and check it out, guys. I totally it was 0.14 realized in profit. I closed it so quickly. It was so ridiculous. But here is my trade plan, right? Because what you do is you want to find your entry area, which is up here, right? So let me just mark that off really quickly. So I wanted to enter where this juicy little imbalance was hanging out. So I took the center of it. I like to go close to the bottom too sometimes, because they don't always do, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't always fill the entire thing, especially if they're going in the opposite direction. They'll come back later and fill it up, but they'll touch it and use it as fuel to move into the opposite direction. So I was like, all right, let me enter here about approximately about here. And actually, I think I'm not quite right. I think I entered at, what did that say? Entered at 23:15. Yeah. So a little earlier, because I was like, you know what, I feel like it's going to be a thing, right? So I think I entered even a little earlier. And let me change the color on this thing so it's easier to see. Let's make it white. All right, so I entered at about approximately there, right? So a little before a decent break, because I saw a little something. So I was like, all right. And I was like, yeah, I think it's going down. Lower high. But it felt kind of good, but I hadn't got my full confirmation, which isn't always a great plan, right? But anyway, so below that, I was thinking, all right, so we got these equal lows here at the 20,154, but there is a lovely juicy imbalance down here at 20,095, right? So I was like, cool, I'm going to take profit at 20,100. But of course, I was a little scaredy cat, and I can't tell you why I ended it. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get stopped out. I'm like, that's why a stop loss is there. And I had one. I had a nice little stop loss right above this area right here. I might have lost 2% if it had gone against me. But silly me, right? So I'd set myself up my take profit at 21,100. And would you believe, let's see, let me just put my stop loss up here too, and I have my stop loss just above this wick, just to be sure. All right, so I have my stop loss, there's my entry, my take profit. I think what was bothering me is that like the stop loss was so high and I didn't think they were gonna come all the way back down this way, at least not in the time I was willing to wait. So this is almost like a one-to-one, one to a little bit extra. I didn't like it, but I was like, let me try it. Of course, I kicked myself out way too fast, and I'll drop the link of that, my 0.02% profit. But hey, profit is profit, right, guys? Anyway, so look how what happened. It came right down and took my profit. Like if I just trusted the process, trusted my algorithm, trusted what I was thinking, right? Because I had some decent confluences, right? I had the weak MSB, I had this swing failure pattern here, and then, you know, if I'd waited a little bit to enter a little bit lower here instead of dropping it here, and I think this is what really got me, is like this wick, this green wick right here, like got me, and I was like, oh man, Shakira, you had to get past this weirdness, right? But anyway, so I just wanted to share that experience with you guys today, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who sometimes just has like a mini panic, like, no, I want to take my profit, But you know, when you see a good confluence of things that, what's the word I'm looking for, that helps to kind of show you that maybe what you're thinking is not wrong, then stick with it, you know, let the market play out, because that's what I didn't do this morning. I didn't let the market play out, because it would have played out perfectly. But that's the unknown piece of it that's kind of scary for everybody, right? We just don't know. But that's why we have stop losses, for the risk and money management piece. So next time I pop a trade in, I'm gonna go ahead and trust myself and not stress about it. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, guys, so if you like this content, feel free to like it. Shoot, if you don't want to like it, that's fine too, but definitely subscribe at least, right? Subscribe and like, and come on, our sisters over here doing our thing and trying to help y'all out and thing and show you all my mistakes. Don't make the same mistakes. Anyway, I think I'll end it there for today. Y'all have a wonderful one. Shakira out.